just realized that I blew my wad in the last episode and talked about pretty much all my good stuff.
What?
So,
Don't tell the people that.
Well, no, I mean, I got a few things, but...
Jesus Christ, Sarah. That's her setting the bar low over there.
I guess so.
Episode 273, this is going to be garbage.
What? Get out! This just in, Sarah didn't do her homework.
I mean, well, we'll see what we can do. Mm-hmm. We can make something out of nothing.
I bet we can. I got a few things
Sarah
on the list.
Sarah just, told me the best story and we weren't even recording. Mm-hmm. Want to tell them?
Sure.
Kill some air?
Yeah, we were talking about our mutual love of Butterfingers and our disgust of anything stale Butterfingers.
Yes.
But in telling this story, it popped into my head that I went to a 4th of July party many years ago at the home of the gentleman who invented or came up with the slogan, "Don't lay a finger on my Butterfinger."
Right.
Or never lay your finger, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made a pretty penny off of that.
Oh, and so here's what I want to know.
Yes.
How did you know he did that?
Because the daughter of the person told us. Because I was like, how the hell does somebody afford this house?
It was huge.
They had a live-in or person there who just did hair and makeup and nails.
No way.
I swear.
That's crazy.
They had a beautician on staff.
Okay. And so, do you think clearly he made other slogans?
Of course, I'm sure he did. That was the big one. Yeah,
that was.
But the daughter pitched it as after that he basically never had to work again. But
wow.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, I don't understand the advertising community.
Me neither.
Let's say,
what if this were all just some BS that she told me, and I would just be gullible enough to believe it?
Right. That's funny. Well, okay, so let's say he, through his company, put in a bid to create the marketing campaign for Butterfinger, right? Mm-hmm. Then that would be a set rate. So, I
think this was back before that even maybe the laws were different.
So it would be however well the campaign did, you'd get a cut of it?
I don't know how it works.
Because that to me seems like it's a false story, a false narrative where... Because, if you come up with Just Do It or whatever...
Right.
That leads to is a million other contracts, and that's how you make your money.
Yeah. Okay. It says that
Are you looking this
I am.
Up? This is so funny.
Uh-huh.
This poor guy.
It was 2009. Really?
This is the history of don't lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
Huh. That seems like that was a lot
maybe you've
longer
been bamboozled.
Than maybe.
No, that's been around a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Nobody better lay a finger on
since 1988.
Yeah, because remember it was in Bart Simpson.
Yes, that's exactly what they talk about in here. Mm-hmm. No mention of this guy.
The genius behind.
Yeah,
Nobody better lay a finger. And
I just remember talking.
Sarah laid a finger on my Butterfinger.
I did. And I do it again. Gosh darn it.
She regrets nothing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, okay. I saw a video of one of my favorite radio personalities.
Howard Stern?
Delilah After Dark.
Oh.
I love her.
Is she the one who does the dedications?
Yeah. Basically the soothing,
yes,
hey, everybody, And it's super cheesy, but it's just comforting. I don't know. I like it.
It's your version of ASMR.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah,
and also I do enjoy the soft rock that she plays. But anyway,
sounds
she
70s and beyond
is a woman who has adopted a gazillion kids.
Oh.
I don't even know the grand total.
Is this the woman who had a child that passed away?
Yeah.
Yes.
Suicide. One of them died from a health issue.
Oh, gosh.
But she did this video about what not to say to somebody who's lost a child or suffered a tragedy
That's important. What shouldn't we say?
I trust that you would already know these things, but I think a lot of people maybe wouldn't. She said, I hate when people say, I know how you feel. Because even if you've lost a child,
right,
you have no idea how I feel.
That's just a good rule in general. To just never say, I know how you feel. Because nobody knows how anybody feels.
Right. So I know the impulse to say it is out of kindness.
Yeah.
But it's not something that anyone ever wants to hear. Like, oh, well, that's a relief. This dope knows how I feel.
Well, good. Now I don't feel that way.
Problem solved.
Gosh.
She said she hates when people say he's in a better place.
Oh, that's rough.
Even though she's a faithful person, she's
Right.
a Christian.
It almost implies that, like, you didn't make a good enough place for them here.
Yeah.
Or, like, whatever you did.
She's like, he's
Yeah.
not supposed to be in a better place. He's supposed to be here until he's old.
Right.
And then he can go to the better place.
Right.
And then she hates when people say, like, he's an angel watching you. She's like, that's not even biblical. Like, that's not even a thing. And so, like...
Oh, that's funny.
But I'm sure there's about a million other dumbass things
Yeah,
people
what's
say. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Shove that right up your ass.
That is the worst. That one is the worst.
I feel like it's gone out of favor because I don't
No.
know if it's just not with me.
They said it a bunch when I had my miscarriage. I heard it from everybody.
Who? In person?
Over the phone, they were people who were from a generation that was not ours.
I think it's just simpletons that, like, they can't think of, so they have to be like, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason, so we don't have to talk about this
And
anymore.
this individual, like, prefaced this with, I know this isn't maybe what you want to hear, but yes. Can you believe that one? Off the air, I'll tell you who did it.
Okay, and did you say, you're right, I didn't want to hear that?
We already knew, Land and I were in the car together when this happened, and we both were like, looked at each other because we like had already discussed how that was the worst thing that people said.
It really is.
You know? But
everybody should know this by now.
The interesting thing is that after time passed, and when I was with just Landon and we kind of reflected, we did have those thoughts of, like, there was meaning in this, and we did, there was this almost did have a purpose, and look at what happened, and look at how much closer we are, and look how it improved the relationship in a way, kind of like made us deal with a bunch of stuff. But it's not the choice of what I would have, but in hindsight, I feel like we can.
But the idea that it happened to produce those results is ridiculous.
Right.
Of course, we can find ways that you can make the best of.
It's almost like meaning making afterwards.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of research on that if you reflect on something that was really, like, Nelson Mandela, if given the option, said he would absolutely go through everything he went through before because it made him who he is. And people that narrative becomes important for people.
Well, that's really nice for them.
Yeah.
That narrative. Yeah, I'm not into it. I will say what I am into is lighting candles and getting cozy in my house. Mm. And I have about a gazillion homesick candles that I have purchased and that I love to give to people as gifts, and that I also like to light around my house. I have the books one on my dining room table,
yes,
which I love. I have not yet lit the Friday Night Lights one, but you said that it's real. It's like leather.
Accurate. Yes.
Like it smells like football and grass and men and leather.
All of it.
So that's so funny. Uh-huh. But they have like the cities and states that you might miss, but they also have these sort of experiences.
I love Los Angeles way more than I thought I would.
The candle.
Yes.
That's funny.
Uh-huh.
Why? You thought it was going to be like
yeah, I don't know pollution. Why. Whatever it was, I was like, ooh, I'm into this. And like, I in the past hadn't been a real like
Los Angeles person.
Yeah, and now I feel like because I was born in Los Angeles.
It helped you connect to your
and I'm
city.
like, ooh, I'm like LA. That's like born and raised. It's cool. Like, look at that's Los Angeles, and that's where I'm from. And it like, I didn't think about
really
that.
Cool. I like that because that's how I feel about Pittsburgh, and I'm sure most people feel about their hometown. But LA has a different vibe. Yep. But these candles are really cool. They last a long time, and they make great gifts. Go to homesick.com to find every single one of the 50 United States candles, plus dozens of classic U.S. cities and popular countries of the world, shipped direct to you and your friends or family in just days. Right now, our listeners can get free shipping plus $10 off. When you buy 2 or more candles, visit homesick.com and use code BRAINCANDY. That's homesick.com and use code BRAINCANDY. Okay, next up on my list of things to talk to Sarah about. I read this really cool article about the importance of street names.
Oh, I can get behind this.
Yeah. It was in the New York Times, and it was in the context about voting, because there are a lot of people, especially like in Native American tribes, they don't have traditional like addresses. And that in some states, if you don't have an address, you can't vote.
I didn't even think about that.
And so it's like a way to disenfranchise certain groups of people.
Yep.
And it was just really fascinating to read about, because if you're a person with an address and you get mail at your house, you really don't think about it.
Right.
And it was saying how there are still many areas in the U.S. that are so rural they don't even get mail, so they have to have a post office box. And if you have a post office box, that doesn't count when you're voting either.
What?
You have, well, in certain states, you have to have like a physical address.
That is absolutely designed to disenfranchise.
Yeah. Yeah, and it began as a tool. It says a tool of war.
What?
Like they in Austria, that's when they started like giving people like, here's your house number, here's your street number, because it helped them like round up people to fight in the war. Because then you could like locate the people that you needed. Before it was just like,
you live wherever.
Yes.
Turn left at the big tree.
Yeah, and then during the Enlightenment, it became more like rational and it equalized everybody. So,
Question. What came first? The grid pattern that cities are built in, or addresses?
well, I think addresses came first, but the grid was also. I suspect that it was part of this Enlightenment movement. Where
What
it was
year
like,
was that they started?
Oh my
doing
god,
that?
hundreds of years.
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. This is a long, long time ago,
Right.
and so.
This is an interesting history of, though.
Right. And it was saying how the good thing about it is it made everybody equal in the sense that, like, whether you were a king or just some guy in a shack, you had a house number. And so everybody had the same system. But unfortunately, that's not how it's playing out in the U.S. at least, and probably globally to a certain extent. And it also, has a thing where it's like back in the day, you only needed a house number really if someone would want to get a hold of you. Like because previously it had meant like you were important. Because Joe Schmo doesn't need one.
Right.
So that's why everyone getting one was such a big deal, because previously
Like
it was
the
like if
equalizer.
you were important.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's also a problem with like ambulances. Like if you don't have a house number.
Oh my gosh.
And like you
There's
need,
a lot of consequences.
Yeah.
And pizza delivery?
Well, obviously. So I don't know. I just was thinking about it, and it was such a. I wasn't expecting so much information in one article, but I'll put it in the newsletter if you want to sign up. Our website, thebraincandypodcast.com. You can just put your email in there. We send one out once a week with the links of the crap we talk about.
I'm gonna have to check that article out. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm not doing it justice, but it was food for thought.
I live in a community that's fairly new.
Yeah.
And so the street names are also new.
Right.
And
Wait, what are? Oh, yeah.
there's one intersection that's especially hilarious.
Because
The street Antonio intersects with the street Banderas.
on purpose.
Well, that would be a weird coincidence if Antonio and Banderas, come on. There is definitely some intention. This was like built in like the...
Right.
What?
No, you're right.
Right?
But it's still weird.
And like of all people to
'cause I would
pick.
think, why I said on purpose.
Right. It
'Cause,
was like I think they were trying to use a lot of names that sounded like the
That's
name
ridiculous.
of the... Oh, what does it mean? It means like the hunting ground, like Coto de Caza, in some language that's not Spanish. It's like Portuguese or something like that. I can't remember what it is. But I think they were trying to use similar like words.
Oh, God.
And so they just picked Antonio and Banderas.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, because Burt and Reynolds wouldn't have been... that would have seemed a little more obvious.
Antiquated.
Right.
But I'm not going to say your street,
Yeah.
but it is also quite modern.
Uh-huh. And we live in a line, like a row of these little cul-de-sacs, and everyone is a different kind of berry.
Okay.
So it's like, or like thing that you find on a tree. It's
It's a theme.
It's like a theme. I live in a themed street neighborhood.
So do I. I guess that's really common. Well, not now, but like in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, in Pittsburgh.
Wait,
yeah.
do I? I do.
Yeah.
This neighborhood is like Native American
it is.
names.
There's a really cool name of a street that I turn on to get to your house. Warrior, yes. Warrior intersects with another one. What's the one where the light is, where it's like...
Black Horse.
Black Horse and Warrior. That's another cool one.
Yeah, it's like all Indian or Native American.
I'm big about the name of the street that I live on. Like, there were houses that we looked at where I liked it, but I was like, I don't really like the street
Come
name.
on.
Yeah.
See, now you know the importance of street names.
Yep.
Okay. Next up on my list, do you think your dog hates your phone?
Yes. And I think that my dog especially hates it when I try to take a picture of, like, I think he recognizes that it's a distraction from me playing with him.
That's what this article I read
I'm pretty sure.
said.
And it's not Bo, it's Sigmund.
Like,
Go figure.
what about if you try to take their picture?
Doesn't like it. And,
That's
like,
what this said.
Sigmund really doesn't like it.
Do you?
And he'll, like, do a thing, and then as soon as I put the phone out there, he'll stop doing the thing, whatever it is. Like, the thing that was adorable that I'm trying to take a picture
real?
of, he, like, won't. Yeah. He also, but he hates costumes. He hates all that kind of stuff.
He's a hater.
He is a hater.
So does he hate books? Like if you got out a book?
No.
That's weird to me.
That is weird.
Why do you think that might be?
Oh, gosh.
Maybe they can hear like the buzzing of the phone. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause since there are whatever.
Frequencies?
Yes.
Yes. I wonder, can they?
Maybe. I'm sure they can hear whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah.
On the phone.
But he does not. It's definitely a different reaction.
It's a jealousy.
Yeah.
Than
yes.
an irritant.
And it's almost
Okay.
like because it's between me and him. He like wants to get underneath it.
The physical part.
Physical,
But
yeah.
not books though.
No. Oh, well, at least he hasn't done that enough when I'm trying to think if I read books in a different place than I watch or that I use my phone, and maybe that's why, but no.
Or maybe it's just not as, like frequent. Yeah.
Like he sees the phone all the time.
Right.
Well, I mean, not like kids and dogs are the same, but I was looking through something. It was like some therapist article or whatever it was, but it was saying how children are saying that they really don't like the phones. Like kids are saying their biggest complaint about their parents is mom spends too much time on her phone or dad won't play with me because he's on his phone, whatever.
Yeah.
So if kids are feeling like if even our dogs are feeling jealous of the technology, I'm pretty sure the kid is probably feeling like it too.
Well, he
Good thing I don't have any, so
yeah.
keep using my phone.
Anyway,
what does this
changing the
article say?
subject.
Does the article agree with me?
Yeah. It was basically saying that that's what they suspected too. That the dog had a sense of like, this phone is taken away from my...
You know what I love
quality.
is I used to be the one who came into the show with all the dog stories, and you were always like, oh, for Pete's sake, another research on dogs?
More dog facts.
You have the little puppy itch, and now you are... I have heard 2 dog stories in the last 2 weeks.
See? Now you're about to hear a murder story.
Ooh, I love a murder story.
I mean, we've had debates about like who our favorite murderers are. Mm-hmm. I always say
BTK.
No, the Unabomber because he had a PhD.
Right.
And did you say was yours the clown guy?
No,
Gacy?
it was Ted Bundy for a long time.
yeah.
Or not Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer for a long time. But I would...
You've moved on.
Yes, I think Zodiac is... I've got to give it up to
I want to find out
individual.
who that guy is.
How about how Ted Cruz put out did you see that Zodiac thing on the...
started.
Oh my gosh. I was like, you're not even cool enough for that. Get out of here.
If you are into this sort of true crime situation...
Yes.
Or if you love like escape rooms or like solving puzzles,
Yes,
as
and
we do, then you have to try Hunt a Killer. Mm-hmm. It is this awesome situation where they send you every month a kit to figure out
I got mine.
a mystery, and you get crime scene photos, evidence, motive, and suspect information, and you have to solve the crime.
However good you think it is, it's freaking better.
You love it.
I didn't think that the stuff that I would get would be as good as it was.
Yeah.
That like it's not just
It's
like
realistic.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
It is so fun. You could play it solo, or you could like do a game night like Sarah loves with all her friends.
Yep. I think it's a great date night thing.
Yeah. It's just like a really cool idea. And you do have to think.
Yes.
So it's like, it's not just mindless like we do on our phones. And right now, just for our listeners, you can go to huntakiller.com/candy for 10% off your first box. They only accept 200 members per day, so hurry to take advantage of the offer. That's huntakiller.com/candy for 10% off your first box. huntakiller.com/candy. See if you have what it takes to get into the mind of a serial killer and solve the mystery. I know we do. Mm-hmm. We have what it takes. Okay. Yeah, maybe I just have the doggy itch. I don't know.
Yeah. So I heard a series of facts, if you will. I guess they're sort of facts, useful advice that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I've heard 3 different things from 3 different people all on the same subject. But they were tricks to use, like how to measure things and count things by using your body parts.
Okay.
Do you know about the knuckles and the months?
Nothing.
Okay, so you know how that saying 30 days has September, April, June, and November? You can use your knuckles to do the same thing. So any time there's a knuckle is 31 days.
Okay.
So January, then the little indent is February, March, April, May, June, July, and then you tap on that one again, August, because that also has 31, and then you go back and it always works. What? My mind was blown when they were showing me this, and like multiple people in my clinic knew about this.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, what? How did I have to say the whole entire rhyme in my head, and I can just go January, February, March, April. Oh, okay, that one has 30. That's way faster.
Right.
And then I have to do it on my fingers and all that.
So really the thing that we're learning is that there are just 2 months in a row that have 31.
Yes. And February is the only one where you got to be like, remember that
it's super short.
Yeah, that's it. But besides, there's no part of the rhyme, So.
They should have just said that. This is the way better method.
Way better.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
what else did you learn?
Okay, then
these are great life hacks,
right? That's what I was thinking, and I'm like, then I googled some weird things like body parts for measuring. Don't Google that. Definitely don't Google that.
That is a riot.
That was not the correct description of what I wanted Google to find me.
Unfortunate Google searches.
Yes, that would fall into that. Same with my kitty bikini wax from some months back.
Right.
Both of those, don't bother.
Big mistake.
Mm-hmm. Huge. So the other one is the crease of your elbow, like the crease in your arm, like the inside of your forearm, from the crease of your what do you call elbow pit? We'll call it your elbow pit to the crease that your wrist makes.
Yeah.
The length of your foot. Exactly.
Come on.
Right? See? That's what people say. When you tell them, they're like, come on, there's no way. One girl in my clinic was like, no chance. And she put her foot up there. She's like, wait a sec. And had to take off her. She's like, that looks huge. Took off her shoe. She did it. Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
And this is scientific or just sort of in general?
I think it's like in general. The only thing, so there's one friend of mine who also your wingspan is the same as your height.
That I did know.
Except I have a friend who was a premature baby, and her wingspan is longer than her height because she basically didn't grow into like the rest of
potential.
Her potential. She's
said, like an ape.
So she'll be like, I'm like 5'3", but I'm supposed to be 5'6" or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
I didn't know that happened to preemie babies.
I didn't either, but that's what she says. She's like, yeah, she said it was really unfair for her in elementary school and junior high and high school where they do the arm test where she was like, I was in Bermudas the whole time. So I got these long arms.
Wow.
I just thought that was so funny.
But generally it should.
Yeah. And then the other one, this one I have yet to try, but I had multiple people swear that this was a real thing, that you can find the perfect size jeans without trying them on. If you're at the store where they sell jeans, you take them like folded in half, just how they are, and you wrap it around your neck.
Okay.
And if the two ends can meet, they'll fit you.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay. So like if you hold up a pair of jeans.
I'm holding them up.
Yeah. And they're like kind of in half, like there's
folded
two sides.
In half?
They're not folded in half,
but
but like there's no body in the middle. So there's like a back and a front,
Okay.
So just like Jeans.
Okay.
And then you take that waistband.
Oh, the waistband.
I should have said that. That's
That's
probably
all right.
the part I was missing. Take the waistband and you wrap it around.
Yeah.
That circumference will.
This is a
make
made-up
jeans that fit.
story. Sarah, there is no...
I'm telling. Then I saw it
Your
on the
neck-
life hack thing on
Whose
BuzzFeed.
neck is the same size as their waist?
Apparently everyone's, but it's like half the size.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not like the full.
Oh.
See how it is?
I see.
Okay.
I got what
you're
you're
with me.
saying.
So it's really like a quarter
Of the circumference.
Yes. Yeah, or however
Half
that math works.
of the diameter
Yes. Correct.
is the length is of your circumference of
Yes.
your neck.
Yeah.
Weird.
I know.
This is weird because do fat people, and I use that word just literally like people that are fat,
Have larger neck sizes.
they do?
Well, I know that's why they have men's neck sizes for shirting in different sizes.
I didn't know it had to do with like body weight. I thought
But
some people
usually-
just have giant ass necks.
Well, that could be true too, but I think it usually accompanies.
Correlates.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe there's like a certain point where after a certain size it doesn't work or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Right,
for
right.
majority of sizes,
Because there's
I think-
there's
yes.
a limit on how thick your neck can be.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not sure about this part of
but
this.
But
It's a good hack for maybe if you're an average size.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try it.
Yeah. I'm going to be, imagine how ridiculous I'm going to look when I'm going to be holding up my jeans to my neck.
They'll
and
be like, ma'am?
do you need a fitting room? No, I got my neck. I'm good. I'm totally that person who does as much trying on of the clothes in the middle of the store in the mirror as I can.
Why,
I'm
though?
almost strategically wear camis
What is the
underneath.
reason?
I don't like waiting in that long ass line. I don't like them asking me how many pieces of clothing I have.
I don't like that either.
that. Oh God! And then depending on what store you go to, there's always that person who's like the fed up and frustrated clothing hanger upper who's like, make sure you bring all of your items out with you. And I'm like,
Where are you shopping that this is happening? This seems like more of
Forever 21.
Oh, is
Well,
that
I mean,
where?
I thought that's what you were going to say.
I was thinking more like Ross Dress for Less.
Oh yeah, usually
Where the
discount
people have
places
had
they've
it.
had it. You're totally right. It is places like that.
Yeah.
And as a former Forever 21 employee who has stayed many a night till 3 a.m.,
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
Because of non-hanger uppers?
Yeah, because you're the most
Wow.
difficult job and the most time consuming job is working in the dressing room and taking all those clothes. Because I think when people see that the clothes only cost $6, they treat them like $6 clothes and they get thrown on the floor. Dude, the stuff I witnessed in the fitting rooms, multiple urine situations, defecations,
No.
questionable.
What do you mean
You know how I feel about
defecation?
mysterious wetness. I mean, shit.
Mysterious wetness.
And that's not in my job description. Yet
What?
somehow we end
What
up
are you
doing
saying? Like a pile of poop?
it. Yeah.
Where?
In the dressing room.
In the corner?
Yes, this was not me who witnessed this one, thank God. But another employee said someone took a shit in the dressing room.
That is really not acceptable.
Right. And twice. I have seen 2 times urine.
How do you know?
Because when there's a yellow puddle on the floor,
It's not carpeted in there.
No, not when I worked. Not the one I worked at.
Okay.
Oh, good question. No, ours is top of the tile.
Oh, do you think it's like a toddler?
Maybe.
Oh,
Ugh, yeah, and then mom just left because she doesn't want to deal with it.
I can imagine. I worked at Old Navy,
retail.
and I never had any incidents in the fitting rooms.
Yeah, well.
I loved working that room because you can hear all the nonsense.
Oh, that's
Everyone
funny.
talking about like the moms and daughters.
Oh, that
Lord.
that made me feel so. I wanted to go in and jump in and do therapy on all even before having the credentials to do so.
Well, if you don't have the credentials to, be a financial expert, you can still invest your money in amazing stocks and learn about the stock market through Robinhood, which is this really cool app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission free. And it's super clear and easy to digest. It's not just for rich people. It's literally for anyone. If you have $20 and you're like, hey, maybe I'll buy a stock.
Yeah.
You can do that. And it's great because they have no commission fees And like I said, it's super easy to use. So you can see like the 100 most popular things in entertainment or different categories that makes it more palatable. And then you learn by doing. You learn how to invest and build your portfolio. And Adam's super into it.
Oh, I can imagine this.
He's like looking stuff up all the time. And for me, it's more of just like for fun. But
like
for
research
him,
and
he's
games
like
combined.
It was like opened the door for him to learn.
Oh, that's great.
And he's like a visual learner, so it was helpful for him. And Robinhood is giving our listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. I really love that. It might be the first stock you've ever owned, and I think that's so cool.
A good place to start.
Sign up at braincandy.robinhood.com. That's braincandy.robinhood.com. I just think that's really cool. Okay, moving away from P and D.
Dressing rooms. Oh, I'm triggered.
Let's see what I want to tell you. There's an article about how. Okay, do you? I know you do actually. The language of couples.
Oh,
right? Because often when you're with somebody, especially for a while, you sort of get into this mode where you have shorthand or code or pet names. It's like your own couple language. And it was an article talking about that phenomenon, but how it's often based upon the way our moms spoke to us.
Huh.
And
even for the men?
It just said our, so I'm assuming like each couple brings sort of maybe something into it that they learned, and that then the couple adapts to their own.
I do notice that the way, so like the way that I talk to my dog when I'm being all cuddly with him is the same way my mom talked to me when I was a baby.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Right, so you're using her parenting stuff as your parent, because it's, it's like dogs, kids, whatever. But you don't see it with Landon as much. Maybe his language came from him, though. Maybe if you asked him, he would know where some of the origins.
He kind of does that with. Yeah, I got to ask
like,
him.
I wonder if certain words or phrases or things, coded language, was something maybe she did with him.
I'm going to have to ask him. I like this.
Yeah.
What are some ones that you think of for you guys?
Well, you know how we call each other Bungle.
Yes.
And that is a reference to a show that Adam watched as a child, a Bungle Bear in England. I think it was like a cartoon, which I guess is indirectly connected to his mom because it is his childhood. But Sarah noticed this is what we do. Like, we have this thing where, like, if I'm done recording, when I go out into my house, I'm like, Bungle!
Yep. And now I do.
And Lincoln does it when he gets home from school. And that's our, like, call. Who's here? It's like everyone accounted for. And then they reply.
Yes.
That's weird, but it's what we do.
Were you the one who told me about whistling when the person came home?
Oh.
And that's how were we talking about this?
I did that with somebody I was with previously, but I don't know if we've ever talked about it. Tim Beggy used to do that.
Oh, that is it. That's
okay.
That he would like have a whistle when he...
Yeah, and it was helpful because when you were out, like, and you'd get lost in a crowd, he would do this particular whistle, and then I'd know where he was.
I feel like my mom had something like that. What did she do? There was definitely a word. Oh my God, I hate that I don't remember it. Because when we would be out in a crowd.
Well, she always calls you Bunny.
Yes.
But you don't call anybody Bunny.
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe if I had a kid, I would call them Bunny, though.
Yeah. That's such a cute name for a kid. Yeah. Pet name.
Monkey is my go-to.
For Landon?
Like kids and like babies.
I go for donkey. I really do.
I think it's
it's super funny.
The Y ending.
Yeah.
It's like, you
could
even
use
Bunny,
whatever.
Monkey.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Monkey might have been from Landon's mom too.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you can get to the bottom of that. And I feel like people will think about whatever they speak with their partner and think about, like, did it? Or is there some link? Because I'm sure it's adapted.
There are also like things that, and it's interesting because most of Landon's stuff came from his dad. There are things that he does, like when we're driving in the car, he'll take his hand when like my knee, go between my knees and go real fast, like a
Yeah.
like between both of my legs.
Yes.
And like that's something his dad did. And he does it to me all the time, or I'll do it to him.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's a love language.
yeah, it's totally lovely. It's like some people do the squeeze of the knee thing.
Yeah.
Where it like makes you laugh.
I don't love
or
that one.
I don't either, because I'm super ticklish.
Yeah.
But the between the leg thing is real funny to me.
My mom used to make up songs. I make up songs all the time.
Oh, I do that. I
Yeah.
don't think my mom did that.
Really?
But, I don't think so.
You just started doing
My
it?
grandpa did.
Oh, okay. That's
And
nice.
for all that we are going to the park. That's one of his best, greatest hits.
A grandpa original. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He also used to say, I'll say like, how long do we get there? And he'll be like, we'll be home before you can say Jack Robinson. And then we would always say Jack Robinson. And he'd be like, got me again.
But what's that from?
No idea. I should Google Jack Robinson.
Right. What's that a line from?
Is
You
it
should
like
see
a
if that
Jackie
line's
Robinson, like a baseball term? Like, or what? Yeah, what is that line
Yeah, like
from?
maybe he ran really fast.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, good question.
From third to home.
Oh, and look at
That has to be it.
I love what you're doing. Like coming up with Susie's got a theory.
Susie's got a theory. I do.
Speaking of theories,
Yeah.
I was listening to one of our previous episodes in which we were discussing what I was going to be for Halloween and how I was going to be a witch.
Yeah.
And you asked me, "Are you going to be a green witch?" And I said, like, "Oh, are you going to be one of those green witches?" What did you mean by that?
Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took it as the actual term green witch, which means somebody who's like in touch with nature. And like a green witch is like somebody who like works with nature, does a lot of planting. And so as I was listening to this episode, it dawned on me that is not the kind of green witch you were talking about.
No.
And you meant like green face witch. And I wonder if that was the origin of the
Why she was
stereotypical green face. Because somebody was like, oh, she's a green witch. And if you didn't know that like kind of culture, that like,
I've never heard of that.
oh, there are books there. It's like an actual term.
And these are real witches.
Yes.
Like they practice witchcraft, but they're called green because they focus on nature.
Yes.
Wow. No.
And that's probably what a lot of witches like,
Is that what
back
you
in the
think
day.
you are now?
Totally.
So you are a green
Yeah.
witch.
So when you said that, I was like, absolutely, that's what I am.
So when
And
I
I've
asked
heard
you that,
this
did
from-
you say yes?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was like, yes, you got it. You nailed it. Yeah, that day and every day.
You nailed it. That's hilarious.
So in my mind, I was like, I like had this like realization in the shower, like as many things come to me while I'm
Yes.
shampooing my hair.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a sec. Is that why we get like why the green face on witch is a thing? Now I'm going to have to look that up.
That's interesting.
And you know what? I tried to tell Landon that. He was not nearly as interested as you are right now.
Why?
He was just like, okay, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. And I was like,
get
no.
that a
But
lot,
like,
too.
do you see what...
This is part of why I have almost given up on socializing because I have found people are not interested in talking about the things I want to talk about.
Suze, you're preaching to the choir. Well, to your audience. Because I know. I was in school the other day, and one gal who I love to death, she was like, we were talking about something, and I was sharing like an article with her, and she's like, there is literally no one who loves learning more than you. Like, I've never met another human being who is this interested and like wants to look up this stuff on their free time.
I don't get why though.
I
don't
neither,
get why that's
because
the
I'm
case.
like, Susie's like that. Like, I've like collected people
And our
who are,
audiences.
Yes,
That's
they
why
are.
when I meet them, then they often become my true friends
Yeah.
because I'm like, well,
Yeah.
we can talk about this stuff.
and you're as interested, and yes, totally.
Yes. I do not understand what most people are talking about.
And maybe all the women in my and men too in my program are like at an 8. I just happen to be at a 10. So.
I mean, but why is it fulfilling though? Because I'll go out with like moms and stuff, and the things they want to talk about are so boring to me. Like
I wonder what people talk about.
Like they're mostly their kids,
Yeah.
and then dumb stuff like clothes or
I don't want to talk about that.
yeah. I'll talk about pop culture, but only if
Yes.
there's like a broader point.
Right.
That
If we're
getting
talking
at.
about why 90s clothes have made a resurgence, I'm for it. But
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate. I mean, maybe what they need is to just learn another language.
That would be helpful. Then you can at least talk about the process of learning a language and how easy it is if you have the right programs.
Right. Pimsleur is this really cool system that teaches you how to speak another language. But unlike its competitors, it's not a language game app. You know, it's like not doing that matchy image thing or whatever. It's designed so you can learn by actually conversing and training your ears to understand native speakers, which is really kind of the whole point of learning a language. And a lot of people feel like they don't have the time, and I totally get that. But they have a system that gets you to reach an intermediate level of the language in just 30 days. And it's scientifically proven to work. The FBI use it, the Marines, the Homeland Security. It's just a great way to learn a language quickly. And I want people to try it. You don't have to take my word for it. Try a full Pimsleur course absolutely free for 7 days, risk-free. You don't have anything to lose by trying, but you have everything to gain: a new language, new perspective, a better understanding of other cultures. Listeners of Brain Candy should go to pimspeaks.com/braincandy. That's PIM speaks.com/braincandy.
I also hear if you learn one language, it's easier to learn others.
I know why, though. You just get in this...
I think it's just like that part of your area. I know what it's called, like Broca's area in the brain.
Broca?
Yeah, BROCA.
Oh.
Where like language develops as adults.
It's like a muscle.
It develops in a different place when we're children. Like there's a age cutoff, which is why they say kids can learn language faster.
Yeah.
Because it develops in a different part of the brain. And then once you hit a certain age, it develops in another part. What?
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that that's true, because I have never been one that's felt comfortable with learning another language. Because I feel like English is my sort of like magical weapon.
Yes, I see.
So it is no fun to be without my magic.
That's true. And that's probably why it maybe seems more, not challenging, but because like you have such a deep understanding of the English language that you'd want that same thing, like the conversational, all that stuff in other languages
all my tools are gone when I can't
interesting.
Speak to somebody. I hate it. It's so disarming and like
you've got your looks, your pretty face, and don't underestimate the importance of body language.
I forgot about that. That's true. I should rely on those
But
things.
what a horrible message that she was sending in that movie, that Ursula.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
Oh, speaking of which, I reminded myself, guess what the eels are named in?
Right? Flopsome.
And Chipsum.
Right.
What I was saying the other week.
Right. When you were talking about that, I thought, why do I know those terms?
And I listened to, the song came up on like the Halloween mix.
Yeah.
I listened to it probably 40 times in a row. And I was like, oh my God, they say that word. And I recognized it for the first time. I probably heard that song a million times.
It registered.
Yes, all of a sudden. And I was like, oh.
Those words are weird,
Yes.
though.
And also fun. And what great names for the eels in that movie.
Right.
Tip of the hat to you, Disney people.
Yeah, somebody tweeted that to us. And
Oh,
I was
really?
like, oh, that's where I've heard that before.
That's great.
Yeah, you were nerdy about it, but it's actually a pop culture reference as well.
I mean, I was like sort of nerdy since my information was like I was only so confident.
Yeah, we don't have to put it into our pile of things we got wrong.
Right,
yet.
not yet at least.
I read an article, though, about how, you are often lamenting social media, especially Instagram. But there was an article that should give you hope, because it said that it is, what's the word? Oh, it's saved poetry. That's what it said. How Instagram saved poetry.
Is it the captions?
Basically, that by putting an image with the
Word.
poetry, it allowed people to, enjoy it in a new way. And it allowed poets to make a living as influencers.
Oh,
which
I'm getting
is
chills.
super
I
cool.
love this.
Yeah. And the top selling poets now are all popular because they spread through Instagram.
Huh.
Isn't that cool?
I love that. And I just, this morning, judged an elementary school art contest.
No.
True story.
You went there?
Yeah. And I
my
judged
God.
all the little pieces, and there was a rubric, and it was scored across multiple, like, different,
Oh my
like,
God.
creativity. And
Who asked you to do this?
our friend Mariana,
Mariana.
volunteered me, and I was honored to do it. And there were a few different judges. Like, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see multiple pieces of poetry in there from younger kids. And I think it is kind of, and they were...
Oh, it's becoming more
yeah,
popular.
I was thinking that because I don't think that I would have, that was the case when I was younger. Or
No.
like, I remember liking poetry and writing that. I can even remember when I was a little kid. This memory stands out so strong in my head. I was at the top of this tree, climbing a tree, and I looked down below me and I saw something like either glitter or something like flash at the bottom of the tree. And so I climbed back down the tree and there was nothing there. And so I wrote this poem that said, "What you see from up above is bound to be below, but when you see it from below, it really isn't there." And I still remember.
You're so deep.
I was like in first grade, and I still remember every word to that. It's not even a poem. It's probably just like a little thing.
Limerick?
And it stuck with me because this memory was so strong. And like, so it's
That's very cool.
I don't know why I thought about that, but little kids writing poetry, and maybe it's like a new cool thing.
Yeah. I don't have the right brain for it. I feel like I don't have that gift of even reading it with appreciation. But I so respect it and think it's really important as a part of literature. But it's so great that there's this silver lining of the abyss of social media and all the bad stuff. It's like, but poetry. It can help art.
I'm even thinking of those wonderful images where it's like a picture of the scenery and there are words over it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure
what
that's
I love.
some of it too.
Yeah, I love that.
Right. And I guess it makes sense because when you think about how many like inspirational posts that people like to put up, whether it's about exercise or just like Motivation Monday or whatever, that it makes sense that along with that would be beautiful words that make you appreciate whatever.
And thank goodness the people who have just the same way as you're like, I don't really have that skill. There are people who clearly really do. Yeah. And that they get an outlet to kind of have that shine in a different way.
Yeah. My friend Emily is an incredible poet and writer. And it always is fascinating to watch her career because she's so gifted, but it's not an area that's valued with money. Yeah. And so, like, it's very much like that starving artist, not in her case, but like for a lot of them. Yeah. And I don't know why that's the case, that it's not valued, but it seems like Instagram is helping to put some money into it.
It's a hard job to translate into money, I would imagine, because like,
right, if you're
it's
a
piece of paper, like
you can't be
how much can you charge for it? Whereas like a fine art piece, you can say, that over there, that's $3,000.
Yeah.
Like a poet can't go, this poem I wrote, $1,500 to read that.
In the article, it was talking about the poet laureate at the moment, and I was surprised there is one because like you would think like Trump would have gotten, because he's not exactly the
man
kind
of the arts.
Man of the arts. So
a patron, if you will.
I thought, well, hey, I'm just glad there is somebody that's been what's commissioned to do that job still. Anyway, I thought you'd be happy because, you're always down on the Insta.
I do like that part of it. And I love me a haiku.
What is that?
575.
Oh,
love it.
Do you know one? I don't know.
We can make one.
Go ahead.
Haikus for me. Fun. Haikus for you, not so much. Bring on the wordplay. There you go, 575.
Why do you love that?
I don't know. I just feel like I think it almost the same way. That was a terrible one, first of all. I don't say, I didn't say it was good. It's off the top of my head. What am I supposed to do? I just tried to take whatever was topical right now.
Oh my God.
But the same way a tweet limits the characters. So you have to come up with like, you as somebody who writes a lot of jokes on Twitter, you got to make them short, concise, get the point across, capture the audience and a feeling and the message in like limited characters. And I think there's something really cool about limiting the characters and capturing a feeling. Like real haiku is so beautiful. It's a lot of times about nature. I love it. I really do.
Okay. I think that's part of what I don't have the gift.
I had a text message chain, which you would have hated this. It was a group text with all of my camp people where I think everybody only answered in haikus.
Come on.
We like went through a phase where we're like, we're going to say everything we want to say, but in haiku form. And it's great.
I don't even understand who irritates you anymore. Because
well, shoe people, clearly. The people who offer me a size 6 and a size 9. And like, that's it.
Shoe salespeople are the only people that annoy you. Yeah. I did read that people with debt are nicer, quantifiably nicer, more agreeable.
What?
And there was just this little article about how people with debt are more agreeable, and I was wondering why you think that might be.
I have no clue.
I mean, okay, so I always talk about as a server how the worst people are the Sunday church crowd. They're the worst tippers.
Really?
They're rude and entitled.
Do they write those stupid things like on the menu, like whatever they write in the tip section of like...
Probably. But
pray more, God's watching you or something like that?
And, well, they're usually families, and so kids are always harder because they make a huge mess of Cheerios everywhere on the floor and you got to clean it up. But the best tippers and the most... like best people to have in your section are smokers and like blue collar people. They tip really well. And so this fits in with that idea for me. It's like, if you've been through crap, which is what I think of when I think of debt, is like you're either in the middle of or have gone through something, then you're probably more empathetic towards others and considerate. But this is just a theory. I have no evidence for that.
I have no idea either.
Do you think, in your experience, that that's accurate? Maybe you don't know who has debt.
Well, I don't.
Because it's not always who you think.
Yeah, and I had to make a point of being a better tipper. But it was related to me I related that to me never having worked in the service industry.
Yeah.
Because I'm also the person who always hangs up their clothes and refolds all shirts because I worked in retail.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where I
remember
really
when
respectful.
You didn't tip Uber drivers and I was like, Sarah.
I know.
But that's all right. Live and learn.
I know. And now I've learned and now I'm a better tipper.
But you're saying you never had to rely on tips. So
no. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. But
I wonder where I can't even imagine. Maybe it's...
I love that you're baffled.
Yeah.
But
I can't even think of a
people
theory.
With debt aren't always low income.
Right. No, not at all.
So it's not like a class thing.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Is it more like somebody who... Is it almost like a hoarding money thing where you're like, I've got it. I don't want to slip into that.
I definitely think that happens with people with money. They don't ever want to go back to not.
Right.
Or they don't ever want to be in the position. So I've noticed that so much that the most generous people I know aren't the richest.
The people who were the most demanding of making exceptions to return policies and those kind of things were always the women who, in my experience from where I worked, the ones who had a lot of money and who...
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they were the ones who were really fighting for those coupons more than...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The people, it almost became like a sport for them.
Ew.
Versus like somebody...
That kind of grosses me.
Yeah. And I even compare my aunt and my mom, and my aunt is a really good saver, and my mom is a free spirit. And my mom was like, whatevs, buy that Prada bag. And my aunt was the one who was like going through the Ross,
right?
Or Marshalls, bargains. I learned bargain shopping from the aunt.
I'll tell you what is a great bargain is BioClarity.
Definitely a deal.
It's a 3-step skincare routine. And compared to the competitors that are so expensive,
oh, God.
BioClarity is awesome because it's affordable, but it is also effective and it's not irritating to your skin. I use the Clear Skin Routine and the Pore Purifying Mask because I have problem skin and I'm sick of it. So I do this every day without fail. And it has done wonders for my skin. And I'm so thankful because it's so embarrassing when you have bad skin.
I kind of forgot that skin stuff was even an issue that either you or I had when we first started this.
Yes.
In fact, wow.
Right. And it was
I haven't even
big
thought about
issue.
That. Yeah.
And it is not anymore.
Wow, that's
and
great.
You should get started on healthier habits too with your skincare. Just go to bioclarity.com. Our listeners will get the first month for 50% off a routine, plus shipping is free. And it comes with a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee, but you need to enter our code BRAINCANDY. That's bioclarity.com and enter my code BRAINCANDY. What's happening, Richard?
I'm pulling a sticker off the bottom of my shoe, and it was way louder than I thought it would be.
But like, what? It weirdly didn't sound like a sticker.
Right? It made a weird noise for me, too, and I was like, well, that was fun. Oh, you know what my secret, most favorite thing in the whole entire world is? That's like the oddest thing, but I got to do it the other day, and it brought me so much joy. You'll never guess in a million years.
Okay, what?
Okay, so you know when you buy like electronics or sometimes they're on refrigerators or appliance, and there's a really thin sheet of plastic that covers it to prevent scratching? Oh, when you get to pull one of those off.
That is good time.
Dude, why does that feel so good? And also, when you didn't even know that it was on there, like I've owned my car for 2+ years and just found a section on the radio that did that. You would have think I won the lottery.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, that is so satisfying.
It is. That clear plastic picture frames at IKEA have it. I love peeling that stuff off.
Yes. I wish more people would use that. The worst is like, you know, when they put something on, then it leaves a freaking gum.
That's awful.
Residue.
Yes.
I hate that. Those things never do that.
And they're never. And there's definitely been improvements in sticky stuff to where that is not necessary anymore to have that stupid residue on there.
Screw that.
Like you just ruined that whatever you got to pull it off and then I agree with you on that one.
That is very satisfying. I feel you.
That's like the opposite of pet peeves.
Yes, it's a high time we talked about things that we actually
that we love for a change. What else does that for me?
Did you know that 64% of people claim to be in a happy marriage? That surprised the heck out of me because I know very few people whose marriages I would want. 64%?
I believe that.
Yeah. Why? You see a lot of happy people?
Yeah, I think that, well, we were just discussing this the other night in my life cycles class for school, that when it comes to marriages, there's really no in-between. It's usually really good or really bad at the time. There's no, but it changes. So like, you know, if I'm going through something with my husband, you asked me 6 months ago, I would say, it's bad. It's bad marriage. And then you ask me right now, I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's a great marriage. So I think that there's more of like a...
Okay.
Whoa.
We just had a technical problem.
Yeah.
So we're back.
We ran out of tape. We talked too much.
We ran out of tape. That's a good way to put it since it's like an SD card. Right. But that is essentially what happened. They were like, that's enough talking.
We've heard enough out of you two on this card. I can't handle anymore.
Yeah, we were talking about marriages and
good and bad.
Okay, but like, if you thought of every marriage you know in your life,
correct? Yep,
you would not want most of them.
But I would say I would put the ratio at about 60, around a little more than 50% of ones that I think are good. Because whether a marriage is good or not is different than whether that's a marriage I would like to be in.
Yes,
there are marriages that are really good, but I don't want to be married to that, or I don't want to be in that. I want it to look like that.
Well, the funny thing is this statistic that I'm sharing was actually in the article from something that was trending recently about how women who've had a lot of sexual partners are less happy in their marriages. So that women with a lot of partners, they are happy 57% of the time versus the 64% that I shared earlier.
Yeah.
And so
you sampled a lot of flavors of ice cream and you don't
like
being stuck with mint chip for forever.
That's for women with, I don't know how many partners. I think it was like, I don't know. I don't even want to guess.
I can't wait for whatever number you guess. I know I'm
thought
going
it
to
was
blow it out of the
maybe,
ballpark. So I have no regrets. Like I said, on your deathbed.
Wait, have you ever revealed your number? Not on the air, but I mean, like to me. I don't think I know your number.
Yeah.
Nor
back.
do you need to share.
Yeah. And plus, I never kept track of that. It was like, just freaking,
that's when you know
just do
it's
it.
a lot of
just like
deep digging. Or,
you know,
are we
I was
including
selective.
women or what?
Oh,
in that number, or were you just talking about men only?
No, women too.
Okay. Yeah. So this headline made a big ruckus that women that have had lots of sex.
For goodness' sakes!
But it's only a small difference, in my opinion, between 64 and 57%.
Yeah, that's small.
And I'm more interested in the why. Like, is it that women who've had lots of sex are less happy anyway?
Are they just people who like to mix it up or have,
Yeah, maybe they just enjoy lots of variety. Or is it causal, where it's like because they've had all these sexual partners, then marriage is not good enough for them or something? Because that seems less likely than one of the other
I think
options.
there's more variables you have to take into consideration, like how high do you rank sex on your... Because there are different types of intimacy. There's a triangle for it. Different types of love. There's like compassionate love. There's like, it's like compassion, security, and intimacy. And it's like triangle of them.
Okay.
And you can have two. If you have two of those, it's a good marriage.
Yeah.
And there are some people that like sex is like,
Would you say compassion? What?
Compassion, intimacy, and commitment.
Oh, okay.
So you can have like compassion and commitment, but not have a lot of sex, and it's a great marriage. You can have, compassion and intimacy, but not a lot of commitment, and that still, for some, is a good marriage. But the best ones are when you have a balance of all three.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, I encourage women to bang whoever they want to bang.
Same.
But science says maybe.
For that extra 4%, just what if? That's how you decide who you want to be with anyway. I say like...
Well, like I said, to me, the thing
can.
that's interesting is more about what's going on that made them have lots of partners.
Oh, there's a lot there, because I know for me, my sexual promiscuity was
I don't even like that word.
Right, me neither.
Activity.
At the time, I will use that word because of the intention behind it. It was like for validation, and I felt like because I was a victim of survivor of sexual abuse, that a lot of my worth and my value was tied up in what I can give somebody sexually.
Totally.
So I was doing the only thing I knew how to do, and until I really like unpacked that and got to the bottom of like why I did that, then I started to have healthier sex, safer sex, be more selective with my partners, because I valued myself more and in a different way, and for other things that I brought to the table besides just sex.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's even something to that, where if you are somebody who, like, what's the correlation between people who have, these women who have a high number of sexual partners and a history of sexual abuse or some sort of childhood trauma, and maybe it has more to do with them in relationships in general than it does. Because if I didn't really go to the work of unpacking that, I probably would have done things in my relationship that wound up in a divorce, because a lot of it was my own shit. Of me, like, bringing in old stuff, just like, all that contributed to the times when it wasn't good.
I also wonder, and I suspect that over time, whatever difference there is will go down, because people are having more partners because they're marrying later. Yeah. It's just a cultural thing.
There are open marriages sometimes where people are like, they're swingers, whatevs. That's happening all the time.
Right.
Probably more than we think, too.
Yeah. So I think this is like kind of like outdated. Yeah. Even to look into.
Yeah. I do know that marriages are happier and more successful if you do not cohabitate before marriage.
That is so weird.
And I agree with that in every way.
Why? You're so annoying.
I mean, Landon and I moved in together the first time. Awful. Lasted for 3 months. I was like, I'm freaking out of here. Well, and I told him I'm never moving in with him again until we're engaged or married. And I did not move in with him until months after we were engaged.
Okay, but it's still cohabitating. You're not married yet.
Yeah, but even the engagement, as long as it could be anything, it's just the no commitment thing, like living with somebody.
A boyfriend.
Yeah, boyfriend. Once you're engaged, then all good.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It like brings a lot of anxiety at least this is what the studies show.
What?
That it creates anxiety for the woman and this feeling of almost like complacent. Like the guy's trying her out and the woman's trying to win the job.
Ew.
Yeah, it's real. Ugh.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So,
I'm not into that. Yeah, Adam and I didn't live together until we were engaged. But, I mean, that was more of like...
I wish somebody gave me that advice a long time ago. But everybody's different. Don't take my word for it.
Oh,
do you.
whatever.
And also, if you cohabit, does not mean your marriage is doomed. It's nothing like that.
Let's end marriage.
That's,
Just planting the seed on that one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even get it.
I kind of love it.
I love it personally, but I do not love the government involved. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that is weird.
How my family is organized has nothing to do with anybody. I guess I'm like a libertarian in that way.
Yeah, you are in very many ways.
Back off, big brother.
You heard it here. Susie says, back off. She's going to get that bumper sticker on her car.
Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, right? And mud flaps with the little ladies on them.
Can you imagine? I should just...
I'm getting you those for Christmas. I know what you're getting.
That's hilarious. We actually are leaving now because we have to go do a Q&A for our patreon.com/braincandy.
Whoa!
And who knows? We know there will be wine, but we don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And if you'd like
That's all
to
we
join
really
us,
need to know.
Just sign up. $5 a month. What the heck?
And you get access to so many great old videos and
That's
interviews
true.
and
You
all
get
that.
all the old stuff.
There are,
We have compiled a lot of footage.
so many. We can start our own network.
Right. We'll compete with YouTube. It'll be just us. Though.
Or MTV.
All right, people. See you next time. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.